allow the two
It's okay. It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay. Off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, my ego don't come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego diary politico, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Can in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Sure. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say my ego don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. My ego diary politico, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not they off in mind, oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that my egun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say my egun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say my egun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo, yo. My egun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo, yo. My egun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Man of the masses, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego diary politico, oh, yeah, yeah. My ego don't come. My ego la wa mo la mo do. My ego diary. Ayégun làwa mọ̀ làwọn tó jódodo. Ayégun diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Ayégun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú. Ayégun diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Ayégun diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Máyégún já wa sí. Ayégun diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Máyégún diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Bó bá ṣe é àní Máyégún máa wí. Máyégún diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Máyégún diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Máyégún diary politico. Máyégún diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Máyégún. Máyégún diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Máyégún diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Àní Máyégún làwa mọ̀ tó dódòdó. Máyégún diary náà ibi nọ́mbà wán. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Máyégún ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Lórí lórí YouTube.
Máyégún ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn làjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn làjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn làjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bí pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn làjù.
Máyégún ti dé.
Hello there. Good morning to you once again. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Máyégún Live. Thank you very much for joining me and joining us at this hour. Kindly read beyond the caption of the broadcast. Read the description as well. And like it, the broadcast, especially on YouTube, if you are joining us on YouTube, by the way. So like it. Then share it to invite your friends and then your not so friendly friends, your frenemies, to join us, right, in this conversation. And if the time permits, we shall take calls, like kind of like, extend it from the next 3 hours. So thank you very much if you have done that already. So tonight, we are going to Rivers State again. The last time I shared something about Rivers State, I did say we are not going to hear the last from Rivers State anytime soon. Rivers State is the state that thiefnubu, said to prevent the breakdown of law and order, declared a state of emergency, appointed a sole administrator that will govern the state for the next 6 months. According to thiefnubu, he said this sole administrator will be working with the National Assembly, meaning the National Assembly will act like the State House of Assembly for Rivers people. So decisions decisions that concerns appointment or sack of anyone that were like the available or the existing order should always have the blessing of the same National Assembly. But there are so many infractions, when it comes to this, this false creation by thiefnubu sole administrator. Majority agreed that it is illegal because there's nothing in their constitution that gives the power to the president of a country of Nigeria to remove a state governor. Nowhere. Therefore, their constitution didn't create the office of sole administrator. Like, if in case a state governor is suspended or something happened that a state of emergency is declared, now this is the title of sole administrator. So majority agreed that it is illegal. So they pushed it through the National Assembly in a very insidious way. But the sad thing is, majority of those who disagrees or still who disagreed and still disagrees, majority of them seems to be powerless in changing anything. So the women of Rivers State 2 days ago protested against the state of emergency. They demanded for the reinstatement of their governor. Because according to them, this is a fluke, this is a fraud, right? The genesis of this whole chaos was because of a disagreement between two political bodies, right? And they have now split into 2 groups. So that led to you declaring a state of emergency. So why would you punish one and then favor the other in the name of trying to find peace, which led to that protest at the time, 2 days ago, right? In reaction, today, the weakest group have organized theirs. And this time, it is in solidarity with Ibas, Tinubu's administrator, in Rivers State. Like sole administrator that is acting like he is elected, right? After his selection by thiefnubu, right? This guy is already sacked, the existing political appointees by the elected government, supposedly the Fubara's government, removed them, and then he has appointed local government administrators, which in itself is also illegal. But because it's like they declared martial law, and right now the Constitution of Nigeria is suspended. I think that is the best definition for it. Because when you suspend the elected officials and you appoint a replacement in their place, right? So that simply means that there is no provision for it in your own constitution. So what you have done is you've suspended the Constitution of Nigeria in Rivers State. And the sole administrator is acting based on whatever it is called by thiefnubu's Attorney General of Nigeria, by the way. So right now, the Rivers people, on the other hand, feels shortchanged or powerless, because that's what I see it as, right? So the number of women that came out 2 days ago, right, you could possibly say, they did based on their own personal or self-conviction, right? When you now take a look at the women and men that came out today in one uniform, white and all that, right, organized by the weakest people, in order to show to me and you that you are seeing some group of people on the side of Fubara doesn't mean that he is actually in charge of the people on his side. So here we go. And that's what they displayed there today. In solidarity with Ibas. Ibas has been very good to them. Many of Werey Wike's people have been reappointed into different, governments, kind of like public office in Rivers State, right? Reappointed, but this time not under the constitution of that contraption, Nigeria, right? It is based on the sole administrator's power, which in itself doesn't actually exist, except that it exists because, yeah, somebody is wielding that power as we speak. So we're going to go to Rivers State, see those women who are in total support of state of emergency in Rivers State. And in fact, they wouldn't mind the state of emergency to last to 2027. Because according to them, right, everything is fine now. The reason why the whole place was going to go up in smoke and all of that was because Fubara thought it was smart. So now somebody is there giving us what we were supposed to get anyway. So why changing? That's another conversation, okay? Let's go take a look at their rally. Some of you possibly have seen them today and other views on the matter. So let's go.
Yes, my darling.
It's a long watch, yeah? I know. So they were there to show to you and I that there are some of them in support of state of emergency in Rivers State. But is this just for optics? Is that the true reality on ground? Well, people will tell you that that depends on what side you are or whose side you are. Depends on from which perspective or what perspective you are actually viewing it from. Because if there were no, maybe like indirect support for this illegal state of emergency in Rivers State, why is the state calm? And others will be like, okay, do you want them to start? Okay, well, you will never win. So whatever it is, everyone will give you one reason or another why they're just allowing it to pass. That doesn't mean that some of them are not trying, well, to call the attention of the world to what is going on in Rivers State and how much damage is this going to eventually cause in the whole polity, blah, 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 blah. So there is, what do you call it? There is, you see, this is why I need a soundproof kind of my studio so that I won't have to worry about those external sounds. Sorry about that, right? So here is one of the leaders, apart from Mankio Briggs and one of the leaders from Rivers State, right? Telling us how they actually feel. These ones will say they are neutral, okay, like we're just elders and we would prefer the people of Rivers State are not subjected to this kind of treatment in the hands of their supposed public office holders and stuffs like that, right? So they were like supposed to be neutral, but at the same time, right, they are not shying away from apportioning blames in all of this. Still in Rivers State, brethren.
Aaron, my dear brother, what are we talking about? Can you be strengthening grassroots governance when you are, on the trajectory to destroying the subnational? I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. Now, I have made concerted effort and sought legal opinion of lawyers that I can trust. Not everyone. I don't trust every one of them. But those that I can trust, who can give me a cogent but a practical interpretation. I'm not a lawyer of the Constitution. And everyone says to me what he has done in terms of that appointment is unconstitutional. Period. And so if you go by that, whoever he appoints, and by the way, we know that the appointment is a script of somebody behind the curtain, because there is no doubt there are some people that have been appointed that we can trace to certain people of interest in this matter, and that also brings us to this level of nepotism and favoritism and political political favors, which is given to people. And oftentimes, Aaron, my concern is that it defrauds people with competence as against to incompetent individuals, So let's do an interrogation of the list of appointed people and see their connection with people of interest in this matter. And for heaven's sake, stop insulting our intelligence. We're too smart for anybody to bamboozle. We're too smart for anybody to feel that we don't matter. You can say that I don't matter behind me, but when you say that I don't matter before me, that is gross insult. And many of us will not take it, And I kept saying it. This state, Rivers State, that these individuals, and I say both parties, have turned into a laughing stock. We have become one day, several troubled states. We've been in the news for the past 2 years, and negatively so. Must we continue like that? Must the state be pulled down because of two individuals that ego tripping?
So time will tell, or time shall tell, if two individuals are good enough to put down the state. Rivers State is a laughing stock. Okay, they are filling the void, sort of, among all other things happening in the contraption, simultaneously. However, one of the supposed Fubara's men, which right now is neither here nor there, also weighed in on this issue of protest, solidarity, counter-protest, rallies, and all that, in which even in Bayelsa, they had to force organizers of rallies for Werey Wike. Since this their wahala started, there's been one rally after the other, protest after the other, each group trying to outdo one another. Just same today, right? Abagana, what's this place called again? Well, anyway, there's another set of women who actually were on the streets, same today, screaming, they want Fubara. That's right. So as Abuja happened to be one of the Niger Delta militants, that's a fancy word for terrorism, okay? Local economic, well, they will tell you they have their reasons, right? So as Abuja the last time came out to advise Riverians, especially the Jaws, the Shekiris, the Queries, and all of that, not to get caught up in Werey Wike and Fubara's political game, right? Distancing himself from those who are championing the tribal, or playing the tribal card, that the first Ijo to become governor of Rivers State is about to be removed by a Query man after the support that the Jaws gave to a Query, so and all that. So Abuja was on TikTok, yeah. And he was advising the Riverians not to, choose sides, that the fight between Werey Wike and Fubara is simply politics, all right? So he's back again, seeing this protest and counter-protest. Here is his new position, Rivers.
When person, poverty and hardship, they make man or woman do what they don't want to. See counter-protest. And they cry out, say people want to push out money, say people want to push out money, now we can push out money. Now what money they use give the way we are white, women, men, see them with white. See the crowd. Because they don't carry money, give them. They don't push out money. I greet people of Nigeria, Niger Delta, Rivers State. All over the world, I greet on them. I hope that they see what they happen for Rivers State. When I be talking every time, while they shot last year about the excellence of sin Fubara. Wake up, and be like saying, I been talk too much. But at the same, I say weakest I be this game. After seeing Fubara people protest finish, women where we are white, see them. See women where we are white. When I see them, you see the protest because they don't carry money, give them. They don't push out money. That's why they tell Fubara say, push out money. What do they say this money? Push out money. This money will be your own. This money is for all of us. Use this money, make your way out, walk your way out, fight your way out. Push out money, and they cry, they tell you, wanna push out money. Now see them. You see all of them, white. No be money they push for them. No ordinary. You know, see white people will buy white back. You know how much will go there. We can sabi push out money. See the whole judges, magistrates, now they hold up. And we can sabi push money. In the pity for money. I don't know why. My own brother, my oga, my friend, see, why to this accountant, and the first. People will read accountant, or I don't sabi push money. Now you don't do to the extent. This caretaker acting governor now, money where the government had to go see that one will get account. Billion upon billion where they inside government had nobody know how much they get. Now you don't turn to their own because they save money. General Sabuja, I send it to save money. Save what they do what I send it to save money. Use this money, make way for yourself and for us. Use this money, make way for Ibas people. If they save money for government hands, now they never carry them. Now, what money they use give them when we are white women, men, see them with white. See the crowd. See the population. See, Fubara, this is the destiny. See the counter protest. Now, see them. Say they like, they look and say they like state of emergency. No be money they talk. As I dey here, say Fubara, I dey where you dey. But I dey invest the way they hold the money. The way you don't want to push out money, now I make an invest for you. Chief of Staff, ADC, on they see what in the happen. My own friend and my own brother, ADC, on they see what in the happen. No be say I invest for say this or that. Say all this in the bank invest. Now I see how we can push out money. They push out. See counter protest. Then buy white for them. Give them money to buy white. Put pocket money for them. I don't get all the information. My boys, where they inside here. My boys, where they all of them give me information. How much they give all of them. Give women, how much they pay them. They don't send for the money. Push out the money. Now I come be like saying, now we get a win. No! These people, they protest. Now even rule of law, they don't send. See the man where they say, just stay here for 6 months. The acting governor, where they say 6 months, they don't appoint waiting. They don't appoint caretakers for all local government, all council. They don't put caretaker. Waiting be all the same. Now, what we're going to see for this country, Ibas State, wake up. Indigenous, non-indigenous, wake up. Nigeria, wake up. The masses, wake up. Not this thing at the top where they declare me wanted. Not this thing at the top where they say, arrest, kill and catch or set them up. Because now they are guilty. They sabi set me up. They don't like truth. They sabi frame me up line. Make the world hear them. You see money? We don't go for these masses now. Counter protest. See them. Then they hungry. When person poverty and hardship, they make man or woman do what they don't want to. All these our guests where they sleep men, where they do a shower hustling, where they do hook up. No be poverty cause them. Now poverty and hardship. I cause I go see the different men. Boys where they draw phone for road, where they collect phone, where they thief, where they do this, where they do that work. Now poverty cause them. Now hardship cause them. People where they press, where they do Yahoo, where they like that. Now poverty cause them and hardship. Push money for people. When you push money, they go see say they go down. So they go down to your too. And they cry here, see people wanna push out money, now we can push out money. See counter protest. Like say they support them. They don't support wicked or now the money they talk. Now the money they talk, wicked are pushing money. See, we wanna see them. It be like that the guess. ADC, Chief of Staff, see what they happen. I love all of you. Now all this thing they make me cry. I love seeing Fubara. Now this thing they make me cry. The church people, you go church, you don't go church. Any papa, any bishop don't talk about anything. Wait till they know that they're pocket, all these church people. All these general overseer, papa, daddy, papa. Now their money they know. They don't feel talk anything. They know they are side people, but leave them that they make their money. Fight your way out. Well, God in the heaven will help us. Simple, but don't worry. God did. But don't be say God will come do election or fight for you. Fight your way out.
Nuisance lele.
As Abuja, this one no follow. So here is my own deduction from all of that, right? The kind of the impression, right? Or should I call it the rumor that Fubara controls some of the ex-militants who were now on his side. All he needed was just to give them the go-ahead. This one, it shows that he doesn't even have probably direct relationship with Fubara or his phone number. The way he kept talking about push out money. Obviously, whenever he calls those around Fubara, he'll be asking them for money so that they can take his side. We love you, but you need to give us money. We need money. You need to push money. So the way he's repeating, push out money, push out money, push out money. My impression here is that Fubara actually really doesn't have these guys on his side. And maybe he doesn't even give out money too. I mean, everybody knows that Werey Wike is a cheerful giver. He's a Father Christmas he's a joyful giver. When it comes to philandering and plundering too, plundering of the resources in his disposal, right? So they just be like, right, Fubara doesn't spend like that. Even some people believe probably he does. But with this guy, I mean, this is a guy that at the earliest of the whole fiasco, right? He was like, unashamed to publicly declare that Werey Wike had spent his own 8 years. He should let Fubara enjoy his own 8 years too. If Werey Wike move anyhow, they will move to show to him that this is Fubara's time, Fubara's turn. But it's like I told you before, he's neither here nor there right now. He's like a free agent. In my own opinion, it looks more like a free agent. And in no time, he would possibly show where he belongs. So again, the last has not been heard of Rivers State. But just before we go to something else, right? Here is a throwback to the video collections of how the same people that the Supreme Court of Nigeria today reinstated as lawmakers in Rivers State, which reignited this, this logjam that you have been witnessing, this political crisis in Rivers State. So this collection of videos, very short, don't worry, right, will remind you or keep reminding you that if Nigerian judges says there is no evidence that these guys left PDP for APC before they denied it and they did make the affidavit disappear in court, online actually have evidence of all of that. The evidence of the affidavit, the evidence of the letter of decampment, as well as the moving of the motion to decamp, including the welcome party they did for all of them, that led to what you have right now. Of course, Werey Wike has the upper hand, and thiefnubu, right, is wielding the big stick. I bet illegally, right, but he's wielding it. But here is a throwback to keep reminding you how degenerated the Nigeria system is. Just a reminder.
27 of us in the State House of Assembly never defected to any other party. We were elected under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, and we never defected. We never took any step to defect to any other party.
They are members of the All Progressive Congress, and by that very fact, I am their chairman, and so they are within my presence of authority. They are under my presence. They are under the umbrella called, or the broom, whatever, because maybe we won't be given to speak English. When we say umbrella now, they will think we are talking about PDP. They are under the broom called APC. And if they are under the broom called APC, I am in charge.
Some days ago, we defected inside the Hallowed Chamber of the Rivers State House of Assembly in line with Section 109 of the 1999 Constitution as Otta. We made sure that we followed due process. We made sure that we did not do anything outside the provisions of the 1999 Constitution.
The undue pressure on the judiciary by politicians has given the citadel of justice a bad image and making it lose the confidence of the people of Nigeria. A case easily cited is the River State crisis, which raised the fear that the judiciary may ultimately undermine democracy. In that case, 27 former members of the River State House of Assembly announced their defection from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, the platform which they were elected, to the All Progressives Congress, APC. In their letters of resignation from the PDP, the 27 Assembly members cited a division in the PDP as the reason for their decision.
Distinguished colleagues, the reason for the defection by the 27 members of this House are purely in line with the provisions of the 1999 Constitution as Otta, specifically Section 109. And the House has already before this time deliberated on 27 of us in the State House of Assembly never defected.
I mean, it's just a reminder. And as we continue to reshare stuff like that, it's, you know, sorry, one sec. Right, anyway. So the more we share, reshare evidence like that, the more we keep planting it in, I mean, on the internet. And you know the internet never forgets, right? So for posterity. So going forward, yesterday, we saw Peter Obi in Plateau State because of this increasing insecurity, killings, and all that stuff. It's increasing, by the way, and it is concerning. Okay, more than 50 people were killed in a space of just 2 weeks in Plateau State, in Bokos, just in one single town, right? Similarly, in Benue State, these Fulani terrorists have been wreaking havoc. Same again in, what do you call it again? In Borno State, right? ISWAP, which is the offshoot, offspring of Boko Haram. They have been wreaking havoc, so including, which also includes the Nigerian army who have become their victims or among their victims. So we saw him at with the governor of Plateau State, and we also saw him with the victims of this recent attack, right? So I think there's a report that he was planning to go to Plateau State, to Benue State. You know, Benue has been in the news as well for the same reason. Fulani terrorist attack and killings, villages and all that ransacked, and tens of people have also been killed in the last 2 weeks. The last 6 months, by the way, in Benue State, they've witnessed another series of, they've witnessed a series of violent attacks where people have lost their lives. But somehow, you know, it's never really the priority of the Nigerian media to keep reporting this. And that is why, you know, people barely care, unfortunately. But their governor, Hyacinth, is that his name? Hyacinth Elia or something, right? Was now said to have issued, you know, like an order, call it an order. He has issued an order prohibiting anyone. He didn't mention names, so don't get it wrong. You know, you may think this was a random social media post, but it's not. That person is a special advisor, also the press secretary, right, to the Benue State governor. Now, I want you to please pay attention to the wordings of this order, all right? So he said, notice regarding unscheduled visit to Benue State, he didn't put name. The governor of Benue State, Reverend Father Hyacinth Elia, which is to inform the public that he is not expecting any August visitor to the state today. He is currently engaged in high-profile meetings with key state actors to discuss critical issues affecting our state. He is currently engaged in high-profile meetings with key state actors to discuss critical issues affecting our state. He is currently engaged in high-profile meetings with key state actors to discuss critical issues affecting our state. Therefore, it strongly advises against any group or high-profile individual attempting to enter the state for any kind of visit that may generate political assemblies without the governor's consent. So he said, for anyone considering a visit to Benue State without governor's knowledge, it is imperative to reconsider such plans as the safety and security of individuals in this regard cannot be guaranteed. Also, the public is to note that all individuals or groups intending to visit IDPs in Benue State must first seek and obtain written permission from Benue State Emergency Management Agency, right? So we urge security agents and the public to take note of this announcement and maintain peace and order in the states. Thank you for your understanding. So that was from the governor's press secretary. And everyone kind of believes that they just don't want him there. You know, for those who felt like maybe he was pretending during your 2023 charade, others are beginning to notice that it's probably not a pretense. It is probably who he is, right? Visiting the downtrodden, mingling with the rich, and mingling with the poor, showing care, love, and all of that stuff, right? And politically, it seems like it is making them look bad, kind of, right? So therefore, Benue State, that has received not a single mention from thiefnubu, despite the recent attacks and the killings, you know, in the states, you know, by the same dreaded, the Fulani terrorist, so to say, now reject somebody who possibly like genuinely cares, as you know. So then the obedience themselves shared what was probably believed to be an alternative. You know, others said no, it's probably part of his plan as well. Somewhere in Lafia, Nasarawa State, you know, where a market just experienced this fire incident or something like that. And it was there, talking about Toby, by the way. So from there, we're going to go to something else. Watch this.
haka yana da kyau mai taimako ne insha Allah kuma dan aljanna ne wannan mutum Inshallah. Yau ban tafiya. Inshallah.
Obi number one. He's the one. That's the one. He's the one that pulled the car from the filling station and brought it out. Sai ka fi da shi. He said that while they were dumping the fuel, they saw that fire started under, and they tried to quench it, and it wasn't quenching. And he found out that should this thing explode, everybody, including the filling station, was going to be burned. So he jumped into the steering, started the car, and pulled it out, and then jumped out before the whole thing. So he saved the filling station and all the other. If not, everywhere would have burned. He said, let's go there so you can see something.
And that makes the government look bad. Do you understand? It makes them look bad that the people could mile around him like that, and they appears to be like them, and that is deceitful. You know, the people in government are like, no, this guy is a billionaire, and why is he like pretending to actually be like, you know, like the poor and all that? So it makes them look bad, sort of. And as destruction was averted en route where Obi was passing, something similar happened in somewhere in Enugu. Hang on, I think I have a name. Yeah, it's called the Ogu Onyama. You know the area, right? Just this afternoon, a tanker lost its own balance, or an accident happened, and then it spilled its contents. Luckily, the people were not really aware, or it didn't happen in the densely populated areas where you would have seen people scooping fuel, and as that does scenarios that we have seen many times on social media.
This is the truck that fell down. This is the truck, you can see. One of the compartments seems to be leaking and is flowing down like this. You can see it flowing down. This is the Enugu State Fire Service at work. The men of Enugu State Fire Service here are trying to control the situation. This is the tipper that the truck collided with. This is the tipper that the truck collided with and then fell off that place. Men at work. You can see Enugu State Fire Service at work trying to control this situation. A fallen tanker that is spilling petrol. Of course, you can see the petrol flowing down. One of the compartments seems,
you know, another disaster averted. But talking about disaster, right? People destroying people. The former ruling party of Nigeria, that has now become the shadow of its former self, the former biggest political party in Africa, as they used to brag that they will rule and control Nigeria for the next 50 years. Then they started deteriorating from within. Power tussle, power struggle. They pressed the self-destruct button just when they were about to clock 12 years. Well, the whole center didn't break apart at once. It took them maybe another 5 years, you know, where they spent 16 years in power. Then they lost it. Now losing it to the jihadist party, the party of strange bedfellows, where you have the Benue progressive of the Southwest, right? The, what do you call it? The jihadist called the CPC, the jihadist of the Sharia North, the career criminals, right? Plutocrats of the new PDP led by the ancient Atiku, by the way. So they formed the strange bedfellow came together and they formed a group, but they called it Al-Qaeda People's Congress, APC, Ebekebe, right? So then the jihadists were the first to take permit, to have power within that arrangement, the CPC. Next after that is now the Benue Progressive of the Southwest Nigeria, led by the druggie, thiefnubu. Unfortunately, it seems that any other group that joined them, oh, hang on, I think they kicked them out. I wanted to say any other group in their Association of Past Criminals, right, APC, at the time, would possibly be waiting to take over after the call-loose time. So here is how you will identify them. When the CPC guys were in power, right, they chased the Benue Progressives away. They looted Nigeria enough that they established terrorism industry that became so commercialized. Then they lost power. Now, losing power means they are being replaced. However, the destruction of APC, Egbekegbe may just go the way of that of people destroying people. Because to APC, Egbekegbe, they're just approaching their 10th year. So by that kind of like context, right, their self-destruct button has been pressed already, but they may have to struggle, push it for the next 6 years before everything scatters. Or maybe not. Because right now, the question would be, who are those that will then dislodge these career criminals like they did to people destroying people at the time? So that may that may keep begging for answers, right? So to the PDP, they dropped from over 24 governors, right? As at, I think it was as at 2007, right? Down to 12 governors now. Is it 12 or 13? 21 governors for APC, Egbekegbe. One governor, Abia, for Labour. One governor, governor for AMPP in Kano. Then one governor for APGA in Anambra. So the remaining 12 states can be given to PDP. Within these 12 states, they're supposed to be PDP states. One of them, the governor, has been suspended, and there is likelihood that he won't come back. Now they are left with 11. Out of these 11, they have it, the rumor has it that 7 of them are, like strong mobilizers for thiefnubu, even though they are in APC. So this afternoon, or before now, they talk of a coalition, oppositions coming together to form a coalition so that they can dislodge thiefnubu. So people have been asking a lot of questions. What kind of coalition would it be that everybody would have to collapse their own structure into this new named party? And then you have to share or how? Yeah, the answers are not really kind of like hard to get, okay? More than 99% of the opposition parties, let me say 99%, because I want to say Showore's party is probably the 1%. 99% of the opposition parties in Nigeria are the offshoot of the ruling party in Nigeria. Their job is just to sabotage any effort of trying to build anything at all that could, remove them from power or make them lose power. So that makes them compromised in the long run, sure you get, including people destroying people. So their governors came out today. Not all of them, I think. They came out today to say they won't be part of any coalition. And the guy who has been trying to be president too, his name is Bala Muhammad. The guy who said, every Fulani on the surface of this earth believes that Nigeria is their headquarters and they all have the same rights as anybody living in Nigeria. The same guy actually plans to be president of Nigeria, by the way. Bala Muhammad is the spokesperson for the PDP governors to tell all of them that they will have no coalition, right? He said other things too. Listen.
Protocol,
Distinguished members of the press, communique issued by the PDP Governors Forum after its fourth meeting held in Ibadan today, Monday, April 15, 2025. The PDP Governors Forum held its meeting here in Ibadan and resolved the following. 1. Noting the nationwide speculation about the possible merger with political parties, groups, and or associations, the forum resolved that the PDP will not join any coalition or merger. However, the PDP as a major opposition party welcomes any party, persons or groups that are willing to join it with a view to wresting power and enthroning good leadership in 2027. 2. The forum reiterates its position taken in Asaba on the issue of the national secretary of the party, but in the wake of the Supreme Court judgment, the forum resolved to recommend that the deputy national secretary acts as a national secretary pending the nomination and ratification of a substantive national secretary on the Southeast Zone at NEC at its next meeting. 3. The forum reasserts our collective determination to avert a rape of our constitution and democracy, hence the decision of approaching the Supreme Court to give a clear-cut verdict on the interpretation, the provision of the law on the declaration of state of emergency in any state of the Federation. The forum therefore reiterates its solidarity with His Excellency Timilai Fubara on the ordeal in which his state and people have been plunged into by the declaration of the state of emergency, and we reiterate our commitment to stand with him to the end. Number 4, the forum finds alarming the worsening security situation in the country as evidenced in parts of the country, especially Borno, Plateau, Katsina, and Edo states. The forum calls for the review and reordering of priorities and strategies, including adopting a bottom-up template that guarantees subnationals to constitute an effective line of defense against security breaches. While raising the concerns above, we condemn the recent attacks on Plateau State and commiserate with the government and people of the state, especially those who lost their land and property during the shock. Number 5, the forum resolved that working in conjunction with the National Working Committee, NWC, and other relevant organs.
Sorry about that, right? That's a very poor video, quality of the video, right? But we heard them say they won't join any merger or any coalition, but they will welcome any group that want to join them in making PDP better. Daily Momodu had this to say on that position.
Assessment and your comments there, but there is talk that Atiku Abubakar and his supporters, which presumably includes yourself, are trying to get President Buhari to move his CPC bloc from the APC to the new planned sort of coalition, which would be reminiscent of what happened when Peter Obi, for example, moved from the PDP to the Labour Party ahead of the 2023 election and took a significant chunk of the voters with him. In other words, the plan is to cause the APC to implode. You've got the inside track because you've been recently the director of strategic communications for the Atiku National Campaign Management Committee. Give us the inside track on that.
Well,
I don't have the inside track. All I know is that opposition leaders are very determined this time around to work together. The truth of the matter is that Atiku cannot go it alone. Peter Obi cannot go it alone. Rabi Kwankwaso cannot go it alone. And whosoever wants to run. So naturally, they have to find a way to pay APC back in its own coins. I was one of those who supported APC in 2014, 2015.
Yes, I remember reading your articles
exactly.
and stuff. Yeah.
So they are going to pay them back in their own coins by at least trying to get a chunk of all the parties, including APC, to come together. So if our governors are saying, oh, we don't want to go into a coalition, I don't know what that means. Then it means that surreptitiously, you are probably working for a Tinubu presidency. But people must learn from history. I'm a good student of political history. The only way Lagos State under Tinubu survived the blistering attack from the Obasanjo government was because they were able to stand alone. When you are bold, a bully only respects a bully. But all of us are already behaving like chicken. We're behaving like chicken. Oh, anything. People panic. Oh, Tinubu. Oh, they are going to use the FCC. Oh, they are going to arrest me. Oh, they are going to do this. The thing is that we all like to read about Mandela in South Africa. We all like to read about the Mahu struggle. Even in Nigeria, we had the nationalists who struggled for our independence. But it seems suddenly everybody just feels power can be offered to you on a platter.
Nobody
just
wants to stick their neck
Nobody
out.
wants to risk anything. And that is the problem. But I can tell you that any governor, any senator, any house member who may be tempted to just jump ship may jump to the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. That is my view. And so that is why some of us are appealing to them that, look, this thing is doable. If you ask me, I will analyze you.
But they have to come together, basically.
That is the thing.
Right.
It is very doable.
You jump ship, you jump into the bottom of Atlantic Ocean. His own view. But the ex-convict, Bode George, has his own view too. He said, if this whole scheming talk here and there is to field Atiku again in 2027, then they can better begin to print thiefnubu's congratulatory message or cards. His own position, listen.
Like as if it's a private fiefdom, doesn't work.
But George, let me quickly, away from the state of emergency. On one hand, Atiku Abubakar has met with, alongside Tambuwal, El Rufai, and a few other persons. Atiku Abubakar met with former President Buhari, and he confirmed that he's working and talking to other people for the purpose of a coalition or working together with other political parties. On the other hand, the governors are saying there is nothing like that. No merger, no coalition. Is it that Atiku Abubakar is on his own? But one will imagine Atiku Abubakar is the leader of the party as of today.
No. If he is the leader of the party, he would have waded into it. All right? The fact that he was the presidential candidate at the last election, all right, doesn't mean is a bona fide fixated leader of the party. If he is running for his own private interest, it's different from the interest of the party.
You don't think Atiku Abubakar could be the presidential candidate of the PDP in 2027?
He cannot be. This is what I'm saying. That for 8 years in the north, there should be 8 years in the south. That is the dictate. That is the doctrine of the platform of PDP. I can't say he cannot contest. He can go to any party and take up because it's his constitutional right.
But if Atiku becomes he's done it back to back, 2019, 2023, and he could do it again. He's probably one of the most influential politicians in Nigeria today. What does this portend for your party? Should Atiku pick the ticket of the PDP
in 2027? If he picks it, that is the end of this party. I want to tell you that. If he picks it by whatever manipulation which was what done the last time, we will not accept it.
But Chief Judge, you remember that you said that you were going to go on a self-inflicted exile if Bola Tinubu wins the election. Now he's done that. And then those who were saying that whatever that is going on in your party, outside of your party, all of the other politicians, whatever they are doing, is a clear pathway to Tinubu becoming president again in 2027. Is it not another pathway for you on a self-exile, Chief Judge? Or how do you fix that politically as an opposition leader?
People, when I decided I could go anywhere I like at my age, at 80, and I'm on the 8th floor of life. What is my business? Well, do I want to? I want this nation to become a great nation, which it had been. So going anywhere is my own personal decision. Like as if it's a...
He has no job. He has.
Just still about their PDP. But let's leave their PDP for now, or even maybe leave politics for a second. Yesterday, the Nigerian police, all the way from Ilorin, Kwara State, right, invaded the home of this controversial musician or singer or an artist, if you call him, Abeeb Okikiola, that everybody known as Portable, to effect an arrest due to a petition received from Saheed Osupa against Portable on defamation, criminal defamation. Sounds similar. So when I saw this yesterday, I kind of felt taken aback, because if all of you will remember, this issue of trying to make it look like it is a death sentence, that somebody says something to libel, like anything libelous against you, right? The police have no right or power to arrest anybody for saying something you don't like to you, except when they probably threaten your life. But for those of you who have been following these back and forth exchanges between Saheed Osupa and Portable, you know, I am one of Osupa fans, right? I actually really love listening to him a lot. But what the vibe that this is currently given is similar to when Falana threatened to sue Very Dark Man. But fair enough, he never used the police. He could, because it is Nigeria, he never used the police to first hunt and kidnap Very Dark Man, bundle him to somewhere, and then charge him to court for criminal defamation. Even those of you who are not lawyers, in the last 1 year alone, you have heard so much about what their law says on defamation and what have you. How the Nigerian police, the criminal organization, is always there for the highest bidder. So now let me give you this background story of what led to this. It was reported that Spotify pulled a song of Portable from their platform due to copyright infringement, reported by Saheed Osupa. Portable used a particular line of Osupa's music, in his own music, in his own voice, and Osupa filed copyright infringement and all of that stuff on that song, and Spotify pulled it. So what happened next, right? Portable jumped on his own different platforms, Instagram and TikTok, and he just started firing Osupa. He was the one who actually made people or got people to be aware of that they pulled his song. So Osupa said he never told him, and he never even reached out, this and that. Shashe, that was the beginning. Then what followed were a series of back and forth abuses, attacks, and all that, exchanges that at a point, it became exchanges between Osupa supporters as well as Portable supporters. So yesterday, it was said that prior to the police coming yesterday, right, that Portable made a video. In that video, he specifically said that if anything happened to him, Saheed Osupa should be held responsible. Something like that. And that was what prompted Osupa to go and report to the police that Portable is trying to defame him by calling him a killer or a would-be killer. So he doesn't know how many people he's fighting and how many people want something to happen to him. If anything should happen to him right now, with his millions of supporters who he already told that if anything happened to him, it is Osupa, right? In order not to have, this is what I heard, though. In order not to have another case of, Mohbad and, what's the guy's name? Sam Larry or something, and what's the other guy's name? Okay. In order not to have that same scenario on their hands, Osupa went to report to the police. So this is where it becomes interesting. If Osupa is notifying the police, right, and it feels like Portable is defaming him by going that route, the right thing for the police to do, which I discussed with a friend of mine this evening, I said the right thing for the police to do was to call both parties, Osupa as well as Portable, all right, to try to mediate between them. Even though so many people feels like if it is not an insult, Portable to Osupa, like from where to where, you get, there are people who are already like charged. But again, Bible says, blessed are the peacemakers. So the police will say, listen, but if we try to placate you both here, right? We have the record that you have not threatened him and all that. And then, so what happened is that if you are not satisfied, right, you can proceed in the legal way, which means you can decide to sue him. I mean, he's been sued a few times, but arresting him, that's not different from what Abeeb Okikiola did. The police in Ekiti, police commissioner in Ekiti, sent a squad to go and kidnap Dele Farotimi from his own office because Dele Farotimi wrote a book that Abeeb Okikiola and his associates felt so strongly, like, So rather than them to go to court, they use the police because the intention is not really to go to court because you can't prove defamation of character like that in court. The whole onus is on you. You are the one that will prove anything. Even if you arrest me for defamation of character right now, you will be the one to prove that what I did, right, defames you. That's it. Not me proving to anybody that, what I did is not to defame you and all that. So this further exposed the rot in the system that you have. And of course, no matter how you feel, Nigeria is a place where people will take side immediately. But on my own is really going to the police. But few of the things that really happened, that a lot of people feels like it should not have been like forgiven. So here is one of them.
Saheed Osupa, Simon Kwabara woni mini. Obatala ló ń gbé kun mi bó bá jẹ́ japa lẹ́yìn gbé síkun. Mo rò porin ló ń bẹ níbẹ̀ ni. Ngbe ká máa ṣe copyright ká jọ máa yọ lọ as bàbá àtọmọ. Tẹ́ bá ti dà mí mọ́mọ́ tó, ẹyọ tí ń sọ́tọ̀, káyọ̀ tí ń sọ́tọ̀, ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ lọ́rọ̀. Bá tiẹ̀ lọ, má yọ bátìrì mi lọ. Ṣé gbọ́, did you hear me? Please, Saheed Osupa, Pasuma ò ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. Bá ṣe ń yọ lọ́dọ̀ yín la yọ lọ́dọ̀ Pasuma, mo yọ bí mẹ́ta ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ lọ́dọ̀ Pasuma káàkiri. Wọn ò ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀, tó bá jẹ́ pé Balaji ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́ ẹ ti fuck up. 4 + 4 na fuck up. Eti Boko Bujare. I fancy me number one. The song I drop, Ijo Shaku Shaku. The title is not your title. Awalomo Shaku Shaku. One year. Two ojú pé chorus wà nínú orin. Bridge wà nínú orin. Hook wà nínú orin. Verse wà nínú orin. Johnny, just bridge. I only use Èmi lọkùnrin mẹ́ta in that bridge. Then I don't use your beat. I'm in pain. Clayton fi ní kọ́ lọ yẹ orin mi tí mò ń dúró dowó ẹ̀. Ẹ wá ní kọ́ they should take it down. Ta ni distributor yín? Okay. Now my distributor now they tell me now say una don take that song down. Mo wá lọ wo orí Spotify mi. I check it myself. Mi ò rí orin. Ṣé ń bẹ́ ni? Àbí kọ́ bẹ́ yín? Tẹ́ bá ti ń ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ stop ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ o. A gbọ́dọ̀ máa ṣòye lára yín o. So ìjàpá lẹ gbé síkùn kò kí ń ṣorin. Mo kàn rò pé ikùn aláyé. Ẹ̀yin fáǹsì mi ṣe ilé ayé yìí. Àwọn èèyàn ń fẹ́ kéèyàn ṣoríire jẹ́ sì ṣe. Success don dey enter your way. They go wan block your way, but they no fit block my way. Ṣé this song, Ijo Shaku Shaku, you dey among 10 song tí mo fi yáwó ní last 2 years. Orin ẹ̀ tún wà nínú orin tí mo fi yáwó, káà tún máa ń forin yáwó. Dey play. Ìjókòó. Ẹ̀yin fáǹsì mi, ẹ sọ fún àgbà tí ó bá gbà ó máa dàgbà yà. Àgbàlagbà tó ń ṣe lágbàlagbà tí wọ́n fẹ́ kí ọmọ inú wọn kọ́ jẹ wá ń fẹ́ yí kwánú. Àgbàlagbà tó ṣe lágbàlagbà tí ó fẹ́ kọ́mọ inú ẹ̀ jẹun bí ó bá jẹ́ kọ́mọ inú ẹ̀ jẹun ọmọ inú ẹ̀ yí kwánú ẹ̀ ní pẹ́ yí kwánú. Ta ló ní kéyó? Mo máa pe lọ́yà Agbomẹ́ra ló máa pàdé kóòtù o. Tani, who is your distributor? Why did you remove my song? I only use bridge, 4 line inside 100 bars in your bars. I only use 4 bars. Full song, èmi ni mo write here. Èmi kan, ẹjọ́ tí kò gbọ́ gangan. Ẹjọ́ lọ, èmi lọkùnrin mẹ́ta yẹn mo kàn rọra yọ ni nínú pátá yín. Ṣé ẹ fẹ́ káwọn ọmọ kéékèèké kan máa fi ń ṣe motivation ni kan fi ń gòkè? Tó bá rí bẹ́ẹ̀, ẹjọ́ o. Aláǹsẹ̀ yọkúyọ, ẹ̀yin fáǹsì mi. Ẹjọ́ ṣe Spotify now in Apple Music anymore.
Nuisance lele.
So that we are very clear that we don't forget that, okay? So to this, to my viewers, right? So it is a line in Osupa's song. If you have been a regular listener, it's that part that Emi Ọkùnrin mẹ́ta ọkọ ìyàwó mi. Òǹṣojúṣe agbole nínú ilé mi ò déédéé o. You know that song, right? So I think that is what he paraphrased in his own song. And Osupa reported it for copyright infringement. And since then, he has been kind of like abusing him. You know what I mean? Like in that video you just finished watching, he's practically calling him out that did you not want the younger ones to also grow? That's how he's been doing. Is select people's song and just take from here to mix up to make his own brand of song and all that. And Pasuma, another Fiji musician, right, was never complaining. So Osupa decided to use his way to pull his song. The same song he's been expecting the Spotify to pay him his royalty on. Now he's been pulled. So what's he gonna do now? The same song he used it in one of his song, right, last year, which he used in borrowing, like taking loan, sort of. So later, he did another video to apologize, only for him to go back again, abusing the same person. I'm talking about real one, like this is not even like jives and all that, in which Osupa that a lot of us actually know. He survived all kind of controversies that if Nigeria happened to him when he was younger and very controversial, Osupa won't be a musician again. You'll probably just be hearing about him. But he fought that, rocket there, and all of that. Yeah, and he's still out, still doing fine. So he's got so I mean, it's got this massive fan base. Like, I don't think there is any, fugitive artist in that Yorubaland, for example, that has any fan base more than that of Osupa. I wouldn't say they don't have as big as he has, but so this, in this day and time of social media and all that, so people have already been taking it up on him, right? Trolling him, threatening him, and all that stuff. So he apologized, then changed it again just before yesterday when he was arrested by the police for defamation. Really?
ẹ̀yin fáǹsì mi ó sọnù lápá abẹ onínú fùfù ni mí ẹ ṣáà mọ̀ I don't talk my mind ó ti lọ náà nìyẹn ṣẹ̀kọ́ tó ṣẹ́rí ẹ̀ kọ́ má lọ gbẹ̀yìn kúlé kọ́ má lọ fi gé orí ẹ̀ kọ́ má lọ ṣẹ́ orí ẹ̀ ẹ ṣáà mọ̀ ẹ̀yin fáǹsì mi tó bá rí bẹ́ẹ̀ dáríjì mi King Saheed Osupa ọba orin ẹ má bínú dádì mi ọ̀rọ̀ owó ló fẹ́ dájà lẹ̀ kí ló ń bojú ọmọ ìyá jẹ́ kí ló ń jẹ́ kí bàbá àtọmọ jà ọ̀rọ̀ owó ni ọ̀rọ̀ owó orin òun ló fẹ́ dájà lẹ̀ because I want to collect the money ni mo gbọ́ pé ní wọ́n ti yọ orin àbọ̀ fẹ́ yọ òun ló ká mi lára ẹ má bínú sí mi no go spoil for me and you God bless you my daddy ọlọ́run sọ ẹ dà mí mọ́mọ́ tọ́ ẹ ṣáà mọ̀ ẹ dà mí mọ́mọ́ tọ́ ẹ bá dà mí mọ́mọ́ tọ́ mi ní ọtí yín sọ́tọ̀ bá mi God bless you no go spoil for you Saheed Osupa ọba orin tó ń kọ fújì èmi lọkùnrin mẹ́ta ọkọ ìyàwó mi mo ń ṣe dáadáa ńlé òun ló dáa lálẹ́ Louis yẹn mo lò tó dáa lálẹ́ ẹ má bínú bá mi kò ní bàjẹ́ fún yín ọlọ́run sọ ẹ̀yin fáǹsì mi ẹ bá ń bẹ̀ wọ́n o ẹ ṣáà mọ̀ ohun tí mo fẹ́ jẹ mò ń wà o ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kí n pàdé ohun tí ó jẹ mí ẹnà bàbá ẹkùn lè pẹ́kun jẹ́ even gọmẹkùn náà lè pa àbẹ́ jẹ́ àjọ ń promote ara wa ni àjọ ń dún wúruwúruwúruwúru mọ́ra wa ni orin là ń kọ́ I do music for living mo fi ń ga wù owó ní promotion náà ni ẹ máa gbé ṣòfò à ẹ ń gbé ilé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ó tọ́ pínpín promotion ni ó tọ́ pínpín ó tọ́. no be today musician ti ń ta síra wọn ti wọnú ara wọn ìyẹn ò ní kọ́pà kan fún kan gbogbo àjọ ní fáǹsì ni ẹ lè pa olórin kan fún kan hip hop dẹ̀ lèmi ń kọ o ẹ lè pa mí o kọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe mí o ẹ yá mi lè kọ́ náà gọ́nà government torí mi fún yín blow látàyè láyé ti gbé kólórin máa fi ra wọn mókè àtẹ̀gùn la máa fi mókè tó bá ti ta sí ẹ tó bá ti dá mi lóhùn ó ti mú ẹ nìyẹn iṣẹ́ ti mú ẹ ògùn ti mú ẹ àtẹ̀gùn la máa fi mókè yóò wá ní kẹlẹ kóòtù pé kẹgbà police station lọ àtẹ̀gùn la máa fi mókè that is not bullying that is music is business mi ti bù yín mo sì ta sí yín ni mi ti fún yín blow kọ́kọ́ bọ́dọ̀ ṣẹ́ mi àgbà ni ẹ wá àtẹ̀gùn la máa fi mókè mo ti fi mókè ó ti lọ mo ti wà lókè àjọ wà lókè ọ̀gbẹ́ni òkè àjọ wà ọ̀gbẹ́ni mi lè jábọ́ ẹ má tẹ́tí mi ọ̀gbẹ́ni àjọ máa wọ́n mara wa ni òkè lájọ wà àjọ máa gbá sóò ni àjọ máa mọ́wọ́ ni mo lóbi mi mo náà tó bí mi àjọ máa mọ́wọ́ ni èmi kan náà fáàsì mi àbẹ́ ẹ̀bẹ́ ẹ sáà ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ má ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ jọ ṣé ká wọlé fún yín ni ṣé ká wọlé fún yín ni a ṣe àwọn tó nílé ayé wọ́n dárí jí wà tá.
Is the character that will make you donate towards the group that are saying say no to drugs is actually a very good reason. You know, you look at him, you're going on, you look at him like this, you're like, oh, damn it, man. And you see this somebody who is carrying a banner here, say no to drug, £1, please. And like, you know what? I'm going to donate towards these people. They have a lot of work to do. So yesterday, there were more like you know, some never really good stuff that he actually did and said. So there's no point in bombarding you with that. So this is just so you know that there's nothing you want to tell me about Portable, right? That I am not aware of. But despite all of that, using the police to arrest him in the name of a defamation of character, that is far-fetched. It is wrong, illegal, and barbaric as well, like you are living in a banana republic, having a barbaric republic. So yesterday, the police from Ilorin, now here we go again, you know, it is deliberate, kind of. He lives in Otta, I believe. Osupa lives in Ibadan and Lagos, I also think. So why Ilorin? Why Ilorin? Why would police come from all the way from Ilorin to pick somebody from Ogun State? Only in Nigeria. Don't bother yourself trying to figure it out, okay? Don't. So, today.
Wọ́n ní láti Ìlọrin ni láti Ìlọrin lọ́tọ̀ wá bá mi ní owó ìgò bíi 20 something 30. Ọdẹ ni wọ́n ní láti Ìlọrin ni pé wọ́n ní ká gbé mi no issue no anything. Wọ́n ní láti Ìlọrin lọ́tọ̀ wá gbé mi pé mo ní petition pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni àwọn ọmọọṣẹ́ mi. Vamos acabar.
Sir, what is your name, sir? Yeah, on the condition that bail application, have you filed the bail application or what?
No, I made another application and it was granted.
Okay. What can you say about the case that happened?
I will know. Saheed Osupa saying that he defamed his character, he's intimidating him and all sorts. We were in the police headquarters and the man even begged him, Portable begged him, the CP begged him, but he said no, that until they brought him to court, and we are in court, and thank God he has been granted bail. Though the condition is a bit stringent, but we'll meet up by the grace of God.
What is the condition? Can you tell us?
That you should provide chairman of P-Man for Kwara State.
P-Man as well?
P-Man, this performing musician association of Nigeria, and someone that has a landed property at GRA. And we are meeting up.
So what is your name and your position to the?
I'm the lawyer to the defendant. Portable.
Your name, sir?
I'm Chief Barrister Isikadiba.
All right, thank you, sir.
And that was him being led to Ilorin Correctional Center. And that's the fancy word for prison. All right? How many of you remember just not too long ago when Burna Boy also used the same police to kidnap Akwi? You remember, right? It is Nigeria. At the end of the day, the intention is not to seek redress or justice, that somebody has hurt your brand or hurt your feeling or what have you. It is to use the system to show who is bigger. Yeah, that's what Nigeria is. Dog eats dog. You know? So as you have Portable like that, right? He also have his own influence where he can ask the police, the same police that picked him up, to pick somebody up and lock them up for days if he wants to. And just like you have somebody who is now using his own influence, and according to that lawyer, they said he actually apologized to him, he prostrated and begged him, but the CP also begged Osupa. He was so mad, he was so mad that he insisted that he must be taken to court. I think, like I said, that should have been the point where the police would say, then you have to do it yourself in your name. Right now, Portable has been charged by the, what do you call it? He has been charged for criminal defamation by Kwara State Police. So it's now Kwara State Police versus Abeeb Okikiola. Defamation of character. You know? And those who call him boss have been using the same social media to beg the same Osupa.
ẹjọ́ ní ọlọ́run alájú Saheed Osupa ẹjọ́ ní ọlọ́run ẹjọ́ bá mi fọmọ lálọ́ mílẹ̀ ẹjọ́ alájú Saheed Osupa ẹjọ́ bá mi dárí lórí ọ̀gá mi ẹjọ́ ní ọlọ́run ẹ̀yin bá ń ṣẹ̀jọ́ bá mi bẹ̀ alájú Saheed Osupa kó bá mi fọmọ lálọ́ mílẹ̀ bá mi fọ̀gá mílẹ̀ ẹjọ́ ní ọlọ́run. ẹjẹ bá mi fọ̀gá mi lẹ̀ ẹjọ́ tó yọ lọ́yìn bá sì mi ẹjẹ bá mi fọ̀gá mi lẹ̀ ẹni kó bá mi fọmọ lára mi lẹ̀ o ẹni kó bá mi fọmọ lára mi lẹ̀ ẹni bá sì mi ẹjọ́. ọmọ dábò ẹjọ́.
Man, I shouldn't be laughing though, right? They're all putting up a different show, okay? So, Omola Lomi, Abishujoruko, Ijakadi Loro Ofa. The Werey Wike Shara Ofa now. Wale Mama Kwere ni Lomi Abishujoruko, Ijakadi Loro Ofa. Wara Ofa Lonko Omola Lomi. Abi. Anyway, injustice is when they say injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. If it can happen to him, it can happen to just any one of us. Of course, you may think that you are not looking for anybody's trouble, but it can still look for you in a way. So, and you know, injustice is not injustice when it happens to the people you like. Do you know that? In fact, when you stand up for the injustice against the people that you don't like, makes you a human being. You know, that you do not have to condone injustice or gloss over it or gloat over it simply because it is happening to the people you don't like, since it's not happening to you. So this is so wrong. Or it is Nigeria. It's just their recent victims. Put it that way. So yesterday, we had the opportunity of hearing the the order or the judgment that disqualified the last judgment of another U.S. court. Okay, U.S. court judgment, right? Which disqualified or dismissed the lower court judgment that protected Tinubu by forcing the FBI, CIA, DEA, drug and review, money laundering, human trafficking, FIRS, IRS, and name it, every federal and state agency investigating Tinubu, keeping their record, right, have been told to release them. David Undeyi, right, the guy who instituted the case, the FOIA case against the U.S. agencies like the FBI, the DIA, the NDLEA, the name it. So they got this victory that somehow Tinubu and his handlers have been trying to tell everybody that, it's nothing new. Now, David was on Nigeria Info, a Nigeria radio platform, right, as a guest, where he explained what this judgment means. He's involved. So he's the best person to tell us what this means, right? Before now, they redacted the name of thiefnubu from the document released by the FBI. And that took away the authenticity or originality of those documents. With this new one, they would have to print thiefnubu's name, his associates, in clearly written letter, like a word for everybody to see. Here is David, by the way.
An IRS special agent called Kevin Moss was in charge of that leg of the investigation. Now, the reason the IRS was involved in an investigation about drugs is that part of the purview of the IRS is money laundering. And as you know, drugs and money laundering go hand in hand. So that part of the investigation focused on the fact that $1.8 million worth of proceeds of heroin trafficking was found in accounts that belonged to a fellow by the name of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So that was the IRS leg of the investigation. So it was basically what you would call an indictment that basically drew a straight line that this is where these funds originated from. This is the heroin distribution organization. These are the main characters. So a guy by the name of Moise Akonde and his accomplices, Lee Andrew Edwards, and the other guy, Agbele, who later became a political operator under Ayoshe in the States. And these are the main characters in this heroin trafficking operation. This is the account that these monies were deposited into. And then these are the relationships between these heroin traffickers and the people who control these accounts. So Bola Tinubu was identified. Bola Tinubu's wife, Remi Tinubu, was also identified as someone who ran a joint account with a wife of one of these heroin traffickers. And Lee Andrew Edwards, who was sort of the African-American sort of spearhead of the gang, the sort of retail end of the gang, he actually ended up dying in prison in the year 2004. The investigation was actually primarily about him, but it dragged in all these other people. So the story that I published in 2022 focused on that, as well as some other financial misdemeanors and potential money laundering, potential instances of money laundering that I was able to dig up with my own research. Now, after publishing that story, there's a guy called Aaron Greenspan. He's the founder of a website called Plainsight.org. Now, Plainsight is a website that deals primarily with legal disclosure. So the goal of Plainsight is that things that should be on public record should be publicly available and readily so. So U.S. federal case records, as quickly as they can be obtained from PACER, which is the U.S. Government database, they're posted on Plainsight. So the Plainsight section regarding Bola Tinubu started receiving a lot of traffic after I published that story. And the owner of Plainsight realized that my story was where this traffic was coming from. So he reached out to me. And we came up with a collaboration, an idea for a collaboration that, okay, now this story was based primarily on an IRS investigation. Now it was a federal drug investigation. So definitely the FBI and the DEA would also have been involved, because that's how federal investigations work. You have different government agencies collaborating on a single investigation. So we're going to get the records of the FBI and the DEA by sending in a Freedom of Information request. So that was done in, I believe that was November 2022, the first time we sent out an FOIA to these government agencies. This FOIA was turned down, it was denied, and the exemptions that were claimed to justify turning down the FOIA cited individual privacy concerns, privacy exemptions, as well as national security exemptions, whatever that might mean. So we appealed. I believe this was in March 2023. We appealed the refusal of the FOIAs. The appeal was turned down. So then we took it to court, which is the last option that you have. You can actually sue government agencies in the US for turning down your FOIA request, and then a judge has to hear the case. Now, normally what would happen is if you're taking it to court, you have to pay for a lawyer, and it's a very expensive process. But because Aaron has a lot of expertise in FOIA litigation specifically, even though he's not a lawyer, because he has done this for so many years, So having him was as good as having a lawyer. So we were actually able to go through this without spending, stupid money on a lawyer. So all I ended up spending money on was like filing costs for the lawsuit. So $80 here, $400 there, which is not to say that it was cheap, but it was a lot less expensive than it would have been for me if I had to pay for a US lawyer. So from May 2023 onwards, which was when the case kicked off in earnest, Aaron and I have been working. So Aaron's name appears on the case file. So it's Greenspan versus EU, USA, FBI, CIA, like that. My name doesn't appear on the case because obviously he's a US citizen and a US resident. So it was more expedient for his name to appear on the document. So we've been doing this jointly since 2023. In September 2023, we then got something called a joint status report from these 6 government agencies. And they said that, okay, we're going to release these files. The FBI specifically said we're going to release the files that we have identified as relevant to your request. And we've identified 2,500 pages. So they first identified over 70,000 pages, but then we requested that they shrink down the number of pages to the most relevant ones, to pages that had specifically to do with Bola Tinubu, with Moise Adegboyega, with Remi Tinubu, with Chief K.O. Tinubu, and with other members of the Tinubu family, and things relating to the heroin distribution case specifically. So that number shrank down to 2,500. So we were then told that these 2,500 pages of documents will be released at the rate of about 500 a month over 5 months. And that the release will start from the end of October 2023, which actually did happen. However, instead of getting 500 pages every month, it was closer to about 300. So in every release, at least 200 pages were basically missing, were basically redacted. There was no mention whatsoever of Tinubu's name specifically in the pages that were released to the public. All mention of his name was removed. So those were the redactions. So by February 2024, when the release of those files ended, we then filed an appeal. And the appeal was specifically regarding the redaction, that we wanted the redactions taken out. So as not to waste our time and everybody's time, we then asked for something called a summary judgment. Now, what a summary judgment is that the judge, instead of watching all of us go back and forth, making arguments back and forth, which can take years, the judge makes a final decision. The judge examines the merits of both arguments and makes a final decision that should these redactions be lifted or not.
Okay.
Are these exemptions valid or not? Right. So the arguments that the DEA and the FBI made in the court filings were that the exemptions are valid because even though Bola Tinubu is a public official and Nigerians have a right to know what their public officials, that Nigerians have a right to know what their government is up to, but that doesn't extend to knowing what specific public officials might have been up to, which I thought was an incredible argument to make, because certainly you wouldn't make that argument if it was an American public official, but I guess Black lives really don't matter to some people apparently. So obviously we pushed back on that, and we've been going back and forth since I think November last year. So it was Tuesday last week that the judge, Beryl Howell, delivered this ruling, her summary judgment, and the summary judgment was that the reasons being given for these exemptions are completely nonsensical, that they make no sense, that these exemptions are not valid. So basically the rationale behind these reductions has mixed. So they have to go back and produce those documents again, and this time using the knowledge that those exemptions are not valid. So basically all the missing pages have to be put in this time around. So the same files are going to be released, but with those missing pages this time around. The pages that make mention of Tinubu's name. So that's what the judgment is.
I'm curious.
I don't know if some of you remember though, that they had to redact the one they released in October last year, and it became pure useless. You know, initially it was like you could read it by just whenever you see that black cover, just put thiefnubu's name there. And if the reading is talking about more than one person, put his wife as well. Well, now we can have a permanent record of thiefnubu in this regard, and based on the request explained. Yesterday I did something on, or I did push out a rhetorical question by saying, you know what is going to happen next? So what does it even mean, right? So, and then I said as well that the institutions that are supposed to have possibly saved Nigeria from this disgrace, this international disgrace, right? We're a druggie. But Escobar, what's that his name again? Is that Escobar? Yeah, Pablo Escobar, right? He himself also attempted to be president of his country. A drug lord, though. That was where his own country, known for narcotic and all that, had to say, oh, no, we can't let that happen. But in Nigeria, a drug lord is their president. Institutions that are supposed to protect Nigeria, save you, they're compromised. In fact, they have been dancing, what do you call it, twerking for this same call, you know. But David believed that when Nigerians are ready, like people say that though, like when Nigerians are ready, they will demand us. He believes same too.
The judicial system in Nigeria, again, as a journalist, I'm sure that you know and have seen and have heard all that's been happening. Before now, you and I would say that the Nigerian judiciary would be the last hope of the common person. And if we are looking at this redacted files, when it does come out and we all have the copies in our hands and whatever we make of it, do you think that if someone decides that they're going to sue Mr. President on whatever grounds, and I don't know what it would be for anyone who wants to, do you think that it would fly?
Again, I think that whether it flies or not depends on the mood of Nigerians.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that, David? When you say the mood of what exactly?
What I mean by that is that even the outcome of the supposed election tribunals in 2023, whether people realize it or not, was determined in large part by the fact that by choosing to not react, Nigerians in fact reacted a certain way, and that was interpreted as, you know, open season. It's fine to do whatever you want. If the judiciary feels sufficiently feels sufficient political pressure from the streets, from everyday Nigerians, if the people in the judiciary feel like their drivers and their cooks and their maids and their gatemen are not going to be happy with them when they go home, if they don't do the right thing, then they will fix up. But the sort of that learned apathy that Nigerians have, that learned helplessness, that socially engineered idea that you can't do anything, you have no agency, and that you're just a victim, that is what is responsible for the judiciary seemingly getting away with absolute murder. So I feel like this isn't going to be any different. I feel like even if someone I follow on social media said this very brilliantly the other day. He said, if this person, who shall remain unnamed, if a video emerges of this person smoking like crack cocaine and shooting somebody dead on tape, it's not really going to change much in the minds of certainly his base, because his base does not support him for rational reasons. And that the rest of the population is going to look at the reaction of his base and then decide that, well, we can't do anything. Since they are not doing anything, then we too can't do anything about it. That's the tragedy, I think. This thing is called the tragedy of commons, where everybody feels like it's somebody else's job to respond or to react in a certain way. And since they didn't do it, well, then I don't have any responsibility either.
Let me put you on the spot, David, as a Nigerian. What do you think is responsible for that mindset? That the
tragedy of a common man in a place where everybody knows everything is wrong, but they are expecting somebody else to do something. And they will jump at you. What are you doing? What are you doing to save the people? What instead of you to go and do, everybody is saying you. What are you doing? You like that. What are you doing? What are you doing? You're not doing anything. Instead of you to start up, instead of everybody, like, it's a tragedy, isn't it? And they know that you won't do anything. That in itself, right? It's also a response, like David put it, right? You see, when they rigged the election, they expected some reactions, like everybody hit the street. That didn't happen. So the reaction was that nobody cares, so we could go on and do even worse. And that's exactly what you are experiencing. And they will still do worse. You know? I mean, a man that they said is a public appointee, right? I want to check his title, right? So they said there's a guy called Ajayi Bayo, okay? And they said that he's representing Ekiti, okay, on the board of Environmental Protection Agency, representing Ekiti. And just this afternoon, his media people said he had just opened a charging port for the people of his constituency as an empowerment. I don't know how to react to this, right? Well, that is the standard, you know, like, I don't know how to react to, but this is the standard in which people are being treated. And the people that you might feel concerned for how they are being poorly treated appear to be happy. So you can't really explain it. In Ekiti, a newly built charging center by one of their politicians.
Agenda 2026, it is done. Báwo jàre? Báwo jọ? Ẹ ṣé wo ẹni lọ ní? It's my pleasure to meet you here. And this is about agenda in the chapter. Agenda 2026, Game Center. Anyway, what we are especially launching today is the charging. Actually, the purpose of this is that for some time now there's no light in Benue. I think almost 3 or 4 months now. The land that our people are having issue with light. Yes. For this period, we thank God the state government is attending to the light issue. But between now and then, and to at least relieve our people of the stress, I have to have this charging point to be built our agenda of this Benue. The purpose is for people to be charging. So our people can come here. We'll be running the night 24 hours for our people to charge their phone. And for now, just like what I said, I showed them to see free of charge. Agenda 2026, commission for that maybe we are doing it to make money. No. This is part of what we are doing to support the government. This is part of what we are doing to identify with our people. I believe in politics of identification with the people at different levels, at the grassroots level, at the middle level, at the higher level. But for my people at home, we have to help them at this moment, just for them to have a place to be charging their phone. Like what I said once more, the free these people will be running 247. And by that way, I've already employed 2 people there. There's a manager, there's a receptionist that will be paying supplements salary every month. So by that way, we are doing this one to support the development. And I believe in God by God's grace. Our agenda 2026, it is done. Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir. Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir.
Do you see the people that you have the same right with to decide who is more qualified, right, to represent you in the public office? Not the kind of people with that too. You get? So you have the same rights, the same voting right. Now, one vote you have right, and they also have the right to one vote. So somebody said that some Nigerians actually lived this long is a miracle. Because sometimes you have to wonder, now this same brain you did use all this while, or you change them. You know that feeling like, now this brain you did take, is it this same brain you are using to walk, to cross the road? Ah, God is great too. You know that kind of feeling like so many. They said if they put some Nigerians' brain inside the fish will drown. But you all have the same right, the same one vote. And in their own case, right, that is an empowerment. Now, some of you are, again, let's kind of slow it down a bit as well, okay? Because on the other hand, right, you have a country where electricity is a luxury. And then somebody says, you know what, instead of you paying to go and charge your phone, I can organize one here for you, all of you. If you promise that you are going to vote for the same people that kept you in darkness, which I am part of them, and I am your friends, I am with you. Here you get. The people responsible for impoverishing you enough to make you this available on a Monday morning, right? Playing dwarf as well as Ludo, right? While I am commissioning free charging ports for you so that you will all keep working to keep us in power. And we will keep working to keep you in darkness. So on is, like a trade by barter. It's a shame. And this Nigeria turn by turn Nigeria Limited, which is a Nigerian shege, is not limited, right? So the civilians, if you ask those who are soldiers and say, how much did they pay you? And they tell you, you're going to be like, hang on. Are you doing this job because you love this contraption so much that you are ready to die? Or you're just doing it because you have nothing else to do, like patriotism or money? What is the worth of your life to allow to be given a gun, AK-47 gun sold for 600,000 naira? A soldier in Nigeria is being paid 50,000 naira. And yeah, they've increased it now. Yeah. It is now, wait for it, 97,000 naira minimum wage for soldier, right? And they will tell you that the minimally paid soldier in Nigeria collects 120,000 naira. About 120,000 naira itself is just about 60 pounds. 60 pounds a month. And you are also a Sahara. You know what a Sahara is? In the corrupt system that these guys have nourished for a while, fighting terrorism is just like a business, because terrorism industry in Nigeria is now a multi-billion-dollar business. And even if they make you feel like you are wearing a uniform, Nigerian Army, you are just, it's a fair game. And I think that is what made this soldier or these soldiers started cursing the Nigerian Army. They're cursing themselves when they jam Agbago.
Better for Army, oh. It cannot better for Army. This is where Army don't do us, you know what better for them. Army don't sell us finish. See where they attack us, they ambush us. Army no go better for them. No go better for them at all. Anyway, Army so for us. Army so for us. It cannot better for them. It cannot better for Army. Army don't suffer us finish. About the Army don't suffer us. Army don't suffer us. Army don't suffer us. After they don't finish us, Army they will say jet.
Don't finish us. No.
They say jet. When they don't finish us. When they have no finish us, they say jet. When they have no finish us. We cannot stand. Better for me, oh. It cannot better for me. This is where.
An average Nigerian army. No wonder this sister says Burkina Faso is better than Nigeria. So she made a video to say anybody, people are telling her to come back to Nigeria. Say, Burkina Faso,
they come back to Nigeria. Nigeria is better than that country. Even your village in Nigeria is better than this country. Anastasia, Sokoto side, all the Hausa states serve. This country is far, far, far. And so what? Better in what aspect? Better in what aspect? Eh? Are they better in what aspect? I'm asking. Nigeria that everybody's dying of hunger now. They are quite developed. My country is quite developed. But here, yes, they are not developed, but they are 10 times better than Nigeria. I will say it with my full chest. I can possibly go to the market with 1,000 and buy food stuff that family of 4 will eat it and have change on top of it. You don't mess around in this country. Fuel remains the same price. Everybody is selling fuel. Since I entered this country, going to 2 years now, they have never and ever had an increment on fuel. Eh? Talking about the electricity, before they take light here, they will announce it on the radio. Before they take light, that will last like 30 minutes, they must announce it on the radio. You want to come to this country and be selling generator, hunger will kill you. Because you will not say, I was walking on the road, I was inside taxi one day, taxi decided to buy fuel. We went to the filling station to buy fuel, NEPA take light. A whole filling station does not have generator, they have to wait. They have to wait for NEPA to bring light, and it not even last up to 5 minutes, NEPA brought light, and they started business again. What are you guys telling me? Nigeria is this, Nigeria is this, Nigeria is this. Students, everybody is crying of hunger. Transportation fee, now your mates. Insecurity is everywhere. Insecurity, you cannot boldly walk in your street in Nigeria around 10 o'clock. How dare you? They want you where? They want you where? Yes, my village is better than here. Based on they are working collectively. They are working by individual. How will I even put it? We have presidents, we have leaders, we have everything that we have, but there is nothing that is working. There is nothing that is working. How will you use Tinubu to compare the youngest president in Africa? That's there are people you cannot open your mouth and talk bad about Ibrahim Traore. You see, they will kill you. They will skin you alive. They will tell you leave their best president for them. They are proud of their president. Who is proud of Tinubu in Nigeria? Who they proud of Tinubu? Then they tell me say Nigeria is good. Nigeria is good. Nigeria is good. Yes, we are developed. What is happening there? What is happening there? Where everybody is crying and be smiling. We are strong, yes, because it's high time we say, in fact, it's high time we come out and say we don't need president because we have president and he's doing nothing. It's just like we are fatherless. You are taking care of you have father and your father is not working, your father is not doing anything. That's why Nigeria is. It's best for us to not to have any leader in our country. We'll be managing everything by ourselves. You people telling me Nigeria is good, Nigeria is good, Nigeria is good. Everybody is crying. Cost of living is crying. Cost of living, everything is high. President is there doing nothing. If they sick, they will fly abroad. People individuals, indigenous will be there dying. School, nothing. When nobody worry me this morning, when nobody tell me my village is better than this country. Yes, my village is better than this country. What has my village, what have they given to me as an individual? What am I benefiting from them? Eh? If not that, there are big men in our village that is working collectively to make sure that their town is rich. In Osume, what has government done for us in Osume? If not the individual that will build road, they will even be dragging who will build road, who will do this one, who will do this one. Where there is government, what are they doing? Hunger is tying everybody. If you go to market with 1,000, you will buy only Maggi 1,000 and go home. What does that supposed to mean? See, the high time we come out and say, well, we don't need Tinubu again. The better for all of us. Next election, some Mugus will still vote for them. And you are telling me to come back to Nigeria. Now you carry me come here. I came here new. When I came to this country new, they did protest for the president. What happened? That day that they did the protest for the president, the reason why they did that protest, the issue was resolved that day. I go still talk am again. If you like, no one day Nigeria they buy on herself. No one they talk Anastasia. You know get sense. Nigeria is rich. Nigeria have everything. All the natural resources. Nigeria have it. Nigeria is developed. What is happening? I go still they talk am again. This country that you people are saying that is far 1980 of Nigeria is 10 times better than Nigeria. Quote me anywhere, I will prove you right. In terms of electricity, in terms of transportation, in terms of economic, in terms of human affairs, in terms of hospital, in terms of everything, they are far better than Nigeria. Look at the students. What are you people telling me? Go to hospital and see. If you like, Mike with Nigeria, the chest bill. I will send 50,000. They will tell me that it's like 5,000 there. That person 50,000 for this country. If that man not talk too much. I go still they talk.
The cost of fuel has gone up.
food and other prices have followed it. Households and businesses struggling. Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there's not.
People have told her to stay there. Anybody will get chance to get out of Nigeria. Usually people back in Nigeria will be telling you, whatever it is that you are going through, stay there. No matter what it is you are going through, alaye, if you come back to Nigeria, it will only be worse. People say that to you except when you have already been deported, right? And that is why, you know, the story of a young man, right? This was under Boko Haram, okay? So he left Nigeria, and the most people that he knew who were doing well while he was when he was in Nigeria, they have now, by style, turned wretched. Enough that he has not been lucky as well abroad, that he was caught and he was to be deported. So, knowing that there is something hellish, that whatever it is that he's facing abroad, right? So he cooperated, he did all they could to get him set free, but you know, it was to be deported until the day of his deportation. Handcuffed, leg cuffed, escorted onto the plane, and what have you. And other passengers joined too. When it was time for the plane to taxi and leave for Nigeria, this Nigerian stood up, grabbed one passenger, beat her so hard, enough that they had to hospitalize that passenger. And from that moment, his action was so strange and weird that he was considered maniac, like a lunatic. They can't deport a lunatic. Yeah? And of course, with some extra drama. So he was considered mentally unstable. So they returned him back. This time not to detention holding cell, but to psychiatric home. You know? And like I said, to some Nigerians, the worst situation they face abroad is actually a child's play. If Nigeria happened to you inside Nigeria, only few people have lived to tell the story. And that's why a lot of people will do anything and everything to avoid Nigeria. It is very sad, I agree. I mean, that was the country you grew up in. You left like everyone else. You were supposed to return someday, sometime, what have you. If things didn't work out, that they have to send you back to that Nigeria unplanned. I mean, come on, it's like going back home. But that is not how it is. Everybody will tell you, life is so hard abroad. You know, they're not better than you abroad. They just like to complain and complain and complain. Nigeria is still very better, blah, 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 blah. And I'm talking about those ones who love Nigeria from abroad. There are many of them like that on different platforms on social media. Abroadian Nigerians. But if they ever dream of being deported, I have said this before, right? You know, those who pretended to love Nigeria from abroad, if they had a dream where they found themselves in Nigeria and they can't really explain it, they are the same people, right, who claim to love Nigeria. They'll begin to call their pastors, their imams, their spiritualists, telling them that they had a bad dream. Nigeria is a bad dream. Even to the pretenders claiming to love Nigeria from abroad, Yeah? Because to them, no matter how worse it is, no matter how denigrating it is, no matter how, dehumanizing it is that they experience or are experiencing abroad, they will never, ever celebrate if they dream being deported to Nigeria. It's hypocrisy. There are many like that, So my own offer to us all is very simple and straightforward. We are all victims of that contraption, disaster waiting to happen. Yesterday's survivors are today's victims, remember? Today's survivors, you and I, we are the potential tomorrow's victims. In Nigeria, the only thing that is pretty democratized is the injustice that is being meted at everyone. So if you have a chance, an opportunity, right, to speak up, push back, please do it. Don't wait till you are a victim so that we won't be telling you about stay where you are. Stay where you are. Don't come back home. Nigerians are in Iraq, like Americans who pronounce it, Iraq. Nigeria, they Iraqi. They do housemaid job. Iraqi. Yeah? And many people will tell them, stay there. Afghanistan. Jesus. Nigerians stay there, they do housework. They have a name for it. So you will see those ones who are in Nigeria. When you complain, they will tell you, my sister, stay there. As you are there now, they know they count you. Like they are counting all of us with the inside. Somehow, yeah, you will become, a source of support system for us. Just stay where you are. So my sister, stay where you are. Anybody where they tell you, you come back from Burkina Faso, they probably just don't like you. Right? All right. So thank you so much, everyone. I apologize again that we're not taking calls. So people have been mad at me, right? Like, why are you going to stop taking calls these days? It is called saving the energy. Next time we are very busy and we don't have too much to probably offload, we will take calls. So if you do have anything to share, not this time, there is a part that I'm trying to encourage us to be part of. That is the brunch time with them. You can express yourself on that. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and I shall see you again. Good night.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Ayébi #1. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Ayébi #1. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun Diary Ayébi #1. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Mayegun Diary Ayébi #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun Diary Ayébi #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary Ayébi #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun Diary Ayébi #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary Ayébi #1. Mayegun Diary politico. Mayegun Diary Ayébi #1. terrorism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Máyégún.
Máyégún diary na ibi number one.
Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu.
Máyégún diary na ibi number one.
Àní Máyégún làwa mọ̀ tó dódòdó.
Máyégún diary na ibi number one.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé. Máyégún ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Máyégún ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Máyégún ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bọ́ba bá gbé wúrẹ́.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Bíjó ìgbádìyẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Máyégún máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì.
Máyégún ti dé.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o, Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀, Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣeré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú Ọ̀tà ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́, ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. Àìsíwọ̀lú ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o, ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súra kí ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.